Good evening, and welcome to another scene in Odessa, The Dark Crusade, Season 2. Tonight, we start our scene in the, well, not bustling, but still quite active bazaar, the rack. Lots of comings and goings, lots of carts with things. It's winding down in activity, but there's still people around. There's still deals being made, things being sold, drinks getting partaken in, and all sorts of things happening. And one of the people that is making her way is walking with two people, not too close, but they're still somewhat close by. They look like monks, maybe, some description. They're not showing any insignias, but who knows of what order they come from. But they seem to be walking and keeping an eye on her. Sister Madeline is back in Odessa, and she's just making her way, just looking at the bazaar, looking at the people, smiling to those men who probably look her way, maybe even women. But tonight there is also someone else, someone very recently arrived to the city. And that person is a person of the clan of the Broken Mirror. Mina, for short. What is Mina doing at this very moment?
Oh, we'll go off on a limb and say that with some exploring and whatnot, has perhaps found a particular tent where various, admittedly not high quality, dogs and hounds are being sold. And perhaps it's because one went to the end of a chain and scared the hell out of someone, or whatever the reason. She has taken a keen interest and is perhaps markedly inappropriately crouched all the way down and interacting with one of these dogs, looking perfectly delighted, even though this dog has a larger body mass than she does.
Okay. Um, um, can you describe what she looks like?
Um, all things considered, she's probably dressed a bit down from where she could be. Of course, Garnet would never approve, but she's kind of liking this whole going unnoticed thing. So she's wearing, the basic kind of tunic setup. Naturally, like everything else in the area, is at least a bit dusty. And, I mean, all in all, just that touch of unkempt that makes her easy to glance over.
Hmm.
But very energetic and very lively.
You will see into this shop will walk a woman that to you looks like she might be of noble birth. She is like the clothing she's on the picture is not what she's wearing. She looks like a merchant. Like it's also not too flashy, not as the picture. And this is a traveling garb, but what she's wearing is somewhat downbeat, but still, there is one thing that stands out: the fact that this is a person with an appearance of 5, meaning that she is very catching. And she smiles around, and she will just look at, like, she doesn't pay too much attention to you at the first glance. And as she walks over to the store owner, you'll notice that some of the animals begin to get a little bit more uneasy, shall we say.
And oh yeah, she will absolutely take note. And we'll perhaps be snatching glances here and there. And perhaps a little strange in that even though this massive hound kind of starts responding in a not aggressive so much as defensive fashion, she's sitting there just cooing at it, and yeah, the eyes kind of dance around now and again. She'll duck her head if she feels like someone's looking her way, but all in all, will just kind of settle in and continue trying to coax this particular hound into calming, and just keenly listening, paying close attention and trying not to look like it.
Well, this woman will just go over to the store owner and just, good evening. What's this delightful shop? I'm, I have a certain problem I hope that you can assist with. And you can like it's not like she's speaking lowly or anything. She inquires to the shopkeeper what animals or what if there is any animal he carries that is best for hunting rats, essentially. Um, and she asks quite a few questions about like how much do you feed them. If you didn't know any better, she's probably never had an animal in any fashion because she seems to be quite a novice at this because she asks about pretty much anything.
Just the long nature of the questions and the fact that there are probably questions being asked that don't necessarily make much sense for a dog.
Yeah, and it's also like I mean, she asks, is a cat? Is it a dog? Is it a wolf? Is it like what should I get to best catch rats? And like what's the best way to keep them? What's like she's well, it makes sense to ask, but obviously she has really not a lot of experience, if any, with this.
And she will kind of glance around the, I suppose, tent, whatever arrangement there is here, perhaps looking for smaller crates, looking for anything like smallish, wire-haired. Just kind of glancing around to see if this woman's even close to getting what she wants in the store, because she's nosy.
Well, you can tell that first of all, the shopkeeper, for intents and purposes, we'll say he's a male.
Mm-hmm.
He's very very happy to answer in very very long and very very detailed ways of how much he can benefit her, and he has the correct animal, and this is the best, and uh, it, he indulges her, let's say, in what she should buy and why. And she keeps like she doesn't show a lot. Like she has this pleasant smile on her face, but like she doesn't give too much, or she doesn't give anything away of whether or not she's buying it or not. But at some point, um, she will just notice that you seem to be calming that dog quite well down, and she will thank the storekeeper for the moment and say that she will look around at these beasts, and he will thank, and he will of course say that if there's anything that she needs, she only to ask. And she thanks him, and she just will look, and just come over and just say, hmm, hello. I must say I do not know. Do you own this dog?
And she, especially on the approach, is, obviously just so taken with this dog. If she doesn't make eye contact, people won't engage her. Nope, doesn't work. So, she will glance up, probably with either hand like wrapped around and rubbing at this dog's ears to keep it chill while when this particular woman gets closer. Out of curiosity, do the men with her come into the tent at all? And
Nope.
if so, okay. I
Nope.
was going to say,
She is, other than like, no, you can't see them at this point.
okay, so they're like out in front of it or some nonsense. So she'll keep rubbing idly at the dog's ears to try to keep it distracted from its reaction to her, and kind of startles a glance up, but then very promptly displays a very broad, very almost too broad, too eager smile. Oh, this? No, no, not yet.
Hmm. So you intend to buy it? She seems. I have always had a. Well, maybe I am scared of nature, I do not know, but it seemed to have that effect on animals. But, well, you seem to calm him down quite well.
Oh, yes, very much like animals, though usually I'm around horses.
Hmm. You work with it professionally?
My brother does. He breeds and sells horses.
Hmm. Well, it's a noble profession, I suppose. Have you been in the city? Have you been born here, or?
Only a couple nights.
Ah, I see. And you can tell that this woman's smile just widens a bit. And all right. Dice roller 2 because she's going to do something.
Gonna
Uh,
do a thing, you say?
yeah, she's going to do the thing with the thing. You know, the thing.
How dare.
She is just going to. She doesn't stare at you, but almost. And well, I should have said that before, but yeah, she kind of stares at you, and like it, like she has the same smile, but she just kind of stare at you, and then like 30 seconds, this woman just like, and then she just kind of blinks a couple of times and just, hmm, well, it is a good pleasure to meet you. I must say it is rare to see people. She looks for the storekeeper. He's not around, so she just says, we tend to not be too friendly with animals. However, you seem to be quite capable.
And she kind of there's something of a change in what's the term I'm looking for? Not posture, but the overall approach.
Demeanor, I think.
Yes, that's the word I wanted. Sadly, I don't think that this ability would help me figure that out at all. Oh, it does. And so she will kind of do a bit of an eye dart, particularly to the tent owner, and will do a thing herself. We'll figure out how well she can do the thing. It is P and E. A sneaky suspicion I'm doing essentially the same thing you just did.
Mm-hmm.
Hoot.
Very well. If
So yeah,
I
she likewise will kind of dart her eyes for a second and then kind of, it's rude, but she more blatantly kind of looks up at her, squinting a bit, as if thoughtfully.
well, are you purchasing this dog with you, or are you merely browsing? If the latter is the case, I would speak with you properly in a. Perhaps we should go somewhere else and speak for a moment.
And she kind of rolls her lips in thoughtfully, glances down at the dog, and then finally gives a bit of a nod.
Do not believe you will go anywhere.
It is a good dog, but I have to learn the lines before I buy any of them.
Oh? Well, what exactly do you mean?
And she casts a glance up that's surprisingly like that, almost too open, too forthcoming sort of thing. Um, and she gestures down. Like with breeding the horses, you don't mix bloods. You want the best of what it is.
Hmm. I suppose you do. She smiles, and her smile seems a bit more warm, like it was measured before and just welcoming, but it seems now it seems actually quite warm, and she just offers you. She doesn't offer you a hand, but she offers you like to walk outside the tent.
Yeah, the little gesture.
Yes.
She'll,
As soon as she comes out, you'll see that she just gestures for someone else, and I'll just say that you see that the two men will just go about their business. They seem to leave, or at least they seem to go over to what is essentially a tavern of some kind. As you exit, they seem to leave.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, she'll go ahead and give the dog a last pat as she takes the first few steps away and gets out of that range where the dog seems to get especially agitated. Gives it a pat and goes ahead and collects herself more properly up off the ground and follows along, kind of trailing behind.
Hmm.
Though she'll catch the gesture, perhaps just as she gets out, and take note of the people departing. But when the good sister turns back around, we'll be looking instead at her,
Hmm.
kind of expectantly, like in that like, so where are we going face.
Yeah, like she will just please. And she looks around. There are still people, but she will just begin to walk. She walks very slowly. It's not hard to keep up. And you walk like she doesn't say anything for the first minute, but then you get to like a bit more, like there's a bit more space between people, and she will just slowly just say, "So you have just arrived. Oh, it is good to meet new citizens. My name is Sister Madeleine, and I assume that you are. Well, I do not know, but might I ask if you are familiar? Well, your family association."
And I'm assuming that with whatever this ability is called, read the soul.
Yes,
And two
aspects.
successes, it's yeah, and two
You can
successes.
you
It's
can
pretty clear that she is vampiric
She
because it's
has
aura.
definitely an aura that seems like a canite.
Okay. And yeah, she'll catch on to the walk while we talk kind of pace and go ahead and step up to walk beside her. brushing her hair back behind an ear. On the same side, perhaps to make listening a little easier. And again, her face kind of splits in a too broad grin. I am Mina. Came with my brother Garnet just a couple nights ago. We are, and she takes a glance around, kind of keeping an eye on how close people are, how audible they might be. But once they've gotten, yeah, once she is very sure that there's no one who could readily overhear, even if they meant to, will, in a pitched, quieter tone, even still, say, Malkavian, but I am just a fledgling lady. Gives a polite little nod, still grinning.
Well, you are certainly careful just to as to what you say and who you say it to. That is a very good sign. My name is Sister Madeleine. I am an ancillar of Clan Sombra, and I am Seneschal of Timuran, to the north of here. It's a very good pleasure to meet you. It is so rare that I get to speak with your clan and your, well,
Your clan and your what?
and no, she pauses and then she pauses, and then she seems to be searching for a word for a moment, and your unique perspective on the night.
The grin splits until teeth are showing again.
Hmm.
And she perhaps doesn't want to attract attention with something like a ridiculous curtsy. Otherwise, she might be sorely tempted. But in this case, after a glance around, she gives a bit of a nod again in excess to the
Hmm.
one that was more of a greeting thing, an attempt to be polite. And will gesture with a hand off towards the walls.
Hmm. And
My brother
no,
Garnet
please go ahead.
stays. Oh, sorry. My brother Garnet. He keeps a stable beyond the city, just before the farming lands. And I'm sure he would be happy to speak with you, should you ever see fit to go by and see him and his stock.
Hmm. By what I can gather so far, I would love to meet him. He seems to have passed on quite a few good things. You are a polite person. It is not always you meet polite people.
I don't think he'd be very happy with me if I was anything less.
Hmm. I think I will meet him. He sounds like quite interesting and good company. But I must say, it is a pleasure, really. There's so many who would. She looks around again. Who would disregard you and yours, like they would disregard the Nosferatu, for some measure of pride or. I never understood it. These two clans are the most thought-provoking and exhilarating I know of. Except for my own, of course. And she smiles.
There's this kind of comically exaggerated shrug of like, yeah, well, eh. But yeah, all of her behaviors are just a little too on tilt. It's very, very.
Hmm. Well, so you have not been with us.
Sorry, my headset clicked out again.
No, okay, that's fine. Perhaps you have not been with us in the nights for too long.
What, me?
Yes.
Uh, no, not long. Long enough that I can be out by myself.
Hmm. Of that I have no doubt.
So, rats, huh?
Hmm. Yes, one of many concerns I must spend my time with, and honestly, I perhaps should talk with you or Garnet. It is not something that well, my time is more to. She looks around again and continues, as Kine or Canite. I have not spent time with animals. I know so very little. It would seem that the two of you would be the people to ask, perhaps.
And she kind of brings up her hands as if indicating a size almost. The small ones. Wiry hair.
Hmm.
They'll dig after them. Easy to take care of if you have someone they'll go near. Head tilt.
Well, hopefully. Hmm. Hmm. Merely, and it is not too much of a problem, but what animal were you thinking of? You said small.
Oh, if it's a dog.
Oh, so a smaller dog would be better. Hmm. Okay,
Yes.
I will remember that.
There are very small ones that have fur that's like brushes or wire
Hmm.
that
I
dig
was.
after rats.
I would have thought that the cats would suffice, but I'm seeing some of the size that these rats can get to. Well, hmm, I must think that I must have at least a ulterior plan.
Her eyebrows pop up a little bit inquisitively at the whole comment on the size of the rats.
Hmm. No, no, they're not. They're just quite a lot larger than any mouse I have ever seen. That is all I mean.
Cats hunt because they want to. Dogs hunt because they want your approval. Easier to control.
She she stops and just smiles, and she just takes a moment to just look at like Mina and just smile and just, hmm, well, that is quite an astute observation and quite interesting. Hmm.
And she's still just all smiles. And again, kind of the very animated, very enthusiastic, helpless shrug.
Hmm. Well, since you have only been here, I suppose I should give you. Have you been told of the city? Have you introduced yourself?
I have been introduced, um,
Good. Good.
and learned a few things, but I have not even seen but so much of the city yet.
Hmm.
But I was
Well,
told this place was safe enough.
oh, it is. Most of the city is well, quite safe. I would stay away from the Hittite domain, of course. Southern slums. But other than that, most of the city is, hmm, well, safe enough, but do keep in mind that some of these domains people will be a little perplexed if you decide to keep them a visit without announcing yourself coming.
And she kind of steeples her fingers a little bit in front of her. I try not to go where I might not be wanted.
Again, it shows that your brother have passed on some quite elementary but very, very important things to you. That is a good sign.
Oh, she glows.
But hmm, you have also heard of Abraham's Fountain, and to avoid that place, yes?
I think we walked near there on our way to be introduced.
And perhaps you've experienced why I would advise you to stay away from the place?
It was. She kind of searches for a word, still kind of just poking her fingers together as she does so. Uncomfortable.
Hmm. Well, then you are lucky. It starts with uncomfortable, and it gets much worse if you actually go up to the fountain. Apparently, the rumors are that Abraham himself, the patriarch, once bathed and drank from this well, and that is why this place is not welcoming to us. The water from the fountain is not something you should ever get near.
And she kind of scrunches her nose in a thoughtful and maybe a tad perplexed fashion, but shrugs acceptance almost immediately.
Hmm.
You know more than I do. I will take your advice.
I hope to share my knowledge with those willing and able to listen, if your brother would accept. Given that you are, well, she looks at her again. One can always learn from what direction and from whom is up to them, of course. If you are willing to learn, I can teach you quite a few things. Of course, pending your brother's acceptance of this. There is never a harm in teaching.
She nods agreement. I can't see that there's harm in learning. I will ask him. Is there a particular night, maybe, you would like to meet him? And I can speak to him about it, make sure his schedule is open.
I do believe in 3 nights' time I might have. She will give some, like, some day in the future where she.
Yeah.
You can tell that she takes a moment to just, like, mentally check off certain things, but she gives you, like, a time.
Uh-huh.
She, I would very much like to meet your brother. I assume that your sire is in another city, or
Yes. Yes. I just came here with him. And BRB a second, I think someone's knocking at my door.
intermission. Intermission. It's the
This is some
intermission
pretty
music. Oh,
fabulous intermission music. I'm digging it.
yeah, it's great. I know. Sorry about that. All right. You should just. So, has he sent you away, or are you? I'm curious.
I am learning to stand on my own feet.
Hmm, that is good. I can actually respect that, depending on what his idea was. Lessons, what I tell you, your brother, is one thing, but meeting, I can tell you that what I learned the most from was when I was corrected, when I was confronted with some of my shortcomings. Do not necessarily be afraid of doing something wrong. And while your brother means you the best, you should not completely, what shall we say, isolate yourself from lessons that can be learned in other ways than just listening. And she smiles again.
And oh boy, does she look entertained, especially as she goes on. I don't think you're wrong. And I think you'll like him. He's gonna like you, but he's more interesting than me.
Well, I will have to be the judge of that. I have found your clan quite fetching, enrapturing almost, in the past. I hope so that this will return.
The
I,
smile grows until it's fit to split her face.
Hmm. But I am afraid that I must go get my boys. She looks over at like you've made sort of a not a circle, but you come around to like you can see the tavern they went into, but and she just looks at it and just says, "I am going to have to get my boys quite soon, but it has been a wonderful pleasure to meet you, and we will see each other again soon when I meet you and your brother. And well, take care of yourself, and please enjoy the city. I have been been in this city for quite some time, and it is always a pleasure to walk its streets."
Oh, I'm sure we'll have plenty of fun. And let me know if you decide you want to invest in these dogs. Maybe I will get some.
Hmm, I will see. And you see, she will curtsy and take her leave. She will. You can see that she will just walk into the tavern, and the two men will come out not too long after, and yeah, you can tell that these are most likely her ghouls because yeah, they just seem to be almost 100% focused on looking out for this woman, for Madeline. Your guess is that these are probably her ghouls.
Seems like one of those healthy bets.
Yeah, and yeah, probably. And yeah, is there anything else you would want to do in this scene?
No, she'll probably make like she's striking off, pause, watch for a couple moments, and then yeah, with another one of her completely manic smiles, we'll go ahead and properly depart. Actually, likely heading for the nearest exit at the wall. Go by Brother Stables.
And as she
Tell about
heads
how
to
much
the
fun
stable,
she's having.
and as she heads to the stables, this scene will come to a close. Thank you very much, players, for playing, and watchers for watching. Good night.